Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion. First of all, let us see the important topics of the day. And later on, we are going to analyze each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view. And even I'll let you know how questions can be asked from that so-and-so topic. And at last, I'll be giving you prelims practice questions so that you can understand how UPSC can give you questions on that topic. Okay, let's start our discussion. Let us see the topics of the day. The first one is Trump ends in Iran truce, talks to go on. This article is talking about ceasefire agreement between US and Iran. In yesterday's class itself, we discussed about because of that agreement now India is going to remove restrictions on gas. But finally, one more bomb blast, that is Trump ends Iran truce. How it is going to have impact on India, we have to see that. This topic is important from GS paper 2 under IR. Next topic is Russia's share in India's oil imports rises above 40%. This article is talking about oil imports of India, and it is exactly talking about how much percentage of oil we are importing from Russia and what is the problem of importing of oil from Russia. This topic is important from GS paper General Economy and even from international relations. We can see this topic. And next topic is India and Indonesia launch joint restoration project at iconic Prambanan temple. So here, whenever you see that such kind of temples in news, obviously UPSC can ask a question from art and culture point of view, and it is important even from international relations. So here you have to see about some facts regarding this Prambanan temple, on which UPSC can frame a prelims based question. And next topic is DRDO conduct successful flight test of Pinaka rocket. So this article is talking about one important rocket system, that is Pinaka rocket, on which UPSC can ask you a prelims based question and you have to know about it. And next topic is over 42% rise in female enrollment in higher education since 2014. In yesterday's class, we discussed about one report released by the government. And the same report which is highlighting that there is also increased women enrollment in higher education. Here you have to see why there is increased female enrollment in higher education and what will be the impact, on which UPSC can ask you a mains based question. And next topic is prisoners of violence. There is violence erupted in one prison in Sri Lanka because of overcrowding of prison. The same kind of problem we are also facing in India. So here we have to see from India point of view, like what are the steps can be taken to prevent this kind of incidents in India. This topic is important from governance point of view from GS paper 2. All these are the articles now we are going to see in this class. Okay, read out the title. Trump ends Iran truce, talks to go on. Okay, what exactly this article is talking about? It is talking about US-Iran agreement, ceasefire agreement. Recently, we discussed Pakistan brokered agreement between US and Iran, and we know some provisions of that agreement. What are the provisions? This ceasefire is for how many days? 60 days. Next one is there will be opening of Strait of Hormuz, and Iran has to allow the free movement of ships across the Strait of Hormuz, right? And there should be no attacking on both sides. So these are the four important provisions of this recent ceasefire agreement. Okay, now what this article is saying, here Donald Trump announced that the ceasefire agreement has been concluded, it has been over in one meet of NATO. Because of this, what happened? Again, there is increased global uncertainty regarding what exactly the next between Iran and US. And obviously, this kind of uncertainty will be impacting global economy. Especially, you have to see from what will be the impact on India. Okay, so how UPSC can frame a question? Recently, US said that ceasefire deal between Iran and US is end. what will be the potential impact on Indian economy? So like that, UPSC will ask a question on what exactly impact of this end of deal between Iran and US. And it may also ask you to suggest some measures because you are writing examination for even IFS, Indian Foreign Service also. Okay, if you got this post or service of IFS, you have to mediate between the countries, right? So here you have to know how you have to mediate between the country whenever this kind of tough situation arises. For that reason, UPSC can ask you about what kind of measures, what India can do, what will be the impact. So this will be the questions from international relations in mains. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. US President declared that the ceasefire with Iran has ended. And he also said that we will go for talks further. And we don't know what happens in the talk. So that is a statement given by US President Donald Trump in one NATO meeting, which is going on in Turkey. In Turkey, he gave this kind of statements. Okay, what exactly he said is, Trump stated that the ceasefire is over. When asked if the truce remained intact, he called it just a waste of time dealing with them. He also made one statement that it is waste of time to deal with Iran. That means he is indirectly saying that he don't want to move further with talks with Iran. But on another side, he made one more balanced statement that yes, talks will go on, but we don't know what happens in that talks. Okay, so he said that talks can continue. And Trump also said that I'll let our wonderful negotiators keep talking if they want. That means if Iran wants to have a deal, we will allow our negotiators to talk with them. But I don't see it. I don't like these people. So in this way, he showed some negative attitude towards Iran in this meet, guys. And next one is immediately what happened. Iran started attacking of US military bases, and in retaliation, US also started attacking Iran, especially in this Kashmir area. Again, there is increased conflicts between US and Iran. Again, had been started. Okay, because of this, what happened? Immediately, 5% of international oil price had been jumped. Okay, so this is the thing which happened in yesterday. Whatever the news channel that you opened yesterday, the hot news is US said deal has over, and again the strike started between Iran and US. Because of this, immediately international oil prices had been raised by 5%. Now you guys tell me what is the impact? What is the impact of this strikes between Iran and US? Again, there may be continuation of war. Next, oil prices for sure will increase. Again, Iran can close the Strait of Hormuz, and there will be difficulty for the movement of ships. Next, country's energy security will be get affected again. And what about India? What will be impact on India? What will be impact on India? The movement of ships, Indian ships in the Strait of Hormuz will be halted. And next one is oil price will increase. That will lead to increased price of diesel and petrol in our country. Overall transportation cost will increase. That will lead to inflation, right? And we have to go for diversification of our energy. That means other than this West Asian countries, we have to go and buy or purchase oil from other countries. And what about our developmental project in Iran, which is called as Chabahar port? Near that Chabahar port, there was a strike. And again, India has a fear that whether we are going to retain our investments in this Iran or not. Okay, so all these are the impacts. Now, what can India do? Negotiations with whom? Negotiations with Iran and US related to our protection of investments in this Chabahar port. Next. Come on, tell me guys. Okay, the first one here we can do is we can go for diplomacy. And next one is we have to ensure overall regional stability. So we have to come up with a dialogue where India can participate and we can try to bring some solution for this problem. We have one international organization called as UNSC. What is the full form of UNSC? United Nations Security Council. What is the main aim of this UNSC? To ensure peace and stability across the world. So we can we can go for discussions related to this issue in United Nations Security Council and we can come up with a solution for this problem. In this way, you have to analyze this article. Okay, see this article, guys. Read out the title. Russia's share in India's oil imports rises above 40%. As you all know that India is import dependent country on crude oil. We don't have that much enough crude oil reserves in India. So now tell me guys, where we have that limited resources of crude oil in our country? The places in India. In India where we have oil reserves. Mumbai High, Godavari and Krishna Basin region. Next one is Assam, Digboy region. So these are the major areas where we have crude oil reserves in India. But whatever the production we are doing in India, it is not at all sufficient for our even a single day need. So what we are doing, we are importing from other countries so that we can ensure energy security for our people. From which countries we are importing? From Russia, from US, from Venezuela, from this West Asian countries, we are getting our oil majorly. Right. So this article is saying that India imported more than 40% of our crude oil from a single country, that is Russia. Okay, so that is the meaning of this title. And now let us see one important point here that you have to make a note. Okay, the data shows that Russia charged India a premium for its oil, while other sources such as US and even the UAE sold India oil at lower than average price. What exactly the meaning of this paragraph? We bought more than 40% of oil from Russia, but it sold for premium. Premium means high cost or low cost? High cost. So Russia sold oil to India at a premium cost, that is high cost. And if we compare with other countries like US and UAE, they sold oil to India at lower than average price. But how much amount of oil we purchased? More than 40%, that too at higher cost. Is going to have any impact on our economy? Are you understanding my question? My question is very clear. We bought around 40% of oil from Russia at a higher price. Okay, when we compare it with US price and UAE price, it is less than average. Overall 40% of price we got at a higher cost. Now tell me what will be the impact on our economy. Is that good for our economy or bad for our economy? We bought for a higher price. Bad only, right? So now tell me what will be the impact. Will Russia give oil for free of cost? No, we have to pay. So if you're paying this money to Russia, what about our foreign currency? Increase or decreases in India? In India, foreign currency will be reduced. And what about our import bill? Increase or decreases? Increasing of import bill. Then what about trade deficit? Increase or decreases? Increasing of trade deficit. Okay, and if you are purchasing oil at a premium price, we will be selling petrol and diesel at higher price or lower price? Higher price. Then what about inflation? Increases or decreases? Increases. If inflation increases, what about the demand from the people? Increase or decreases? Decreases. If demand decreases, what about production? Increase or decreases? Decreases. If production decreases, then what about our GDP? Increase or decreases? Obviously decreases. If the GDP of our country is decreasing, can we achieve our target of our economy? What are the targets of our economy? Viksit Bharat by 2047. Next. 5 trillion economy. Third largest economy. They will be getting delayed. Okay, so all these things that you have to interconnect and you have to read. Are you understanding here? So what is your work here? Try to make a note of countries from which we are importing oil. So how UPSC can give you a question? Consider the following countries. They'll give 4 to 5 countries and they will ask you to arrange them in ascending order or descending order based on India's oil purchase. You know ascending order, descending order, right? What is ascending order? Small to big, descending order, big to small. That means it mainly UPSC can ask you like from which country you are exporting more. You have to know that order also. In that order, try to make a list of at least 5 to 7 countries and that should be there in your mind. Right? So UPSC has a tendency to ask a question on this case. Okay, next one here is second type of question can be asked by UPSC is consider the following countries. They will give you 4 to 5 countries. Again, they will be asking you to arrange them in order, either increasing order or decreasing order regarding their oil reserves in their country. Which is the country which is having the world's largest oil reserves? Venezuela. Second largest, third largest, fourth largest, fifth largest. Make down the list. Are you understanding what exactly I am telling? So you have to make a list of from where India is importing oil. List of top 5 countries. Next one is you have to see the resources because in your geography you have a separate chapter called as resources. In that chapter you will be studying about crude oil, iron, different resources you will study. So we have a chapter in your syllabus. So you have to know this, which is in news. So for that reason, you have to make the list of which countries in the world is having largest reserves of crude oil and even make the list of natural gas also. Clear? So on this, UPSC can give you a question 2027 prelims for sure, guys. Keep star mark for this work. Okay, now let us see this in detail. In May 2026, Russia accounted for around 40.5% of India's oil imports by volume and by value it is 42.6%. So by volume 40% and by value that means the amount we paid it is around 42%. Why? Because they are selling at premium price. Because of that we got difference here. Okay. And next one here is this data is also showing that Russia charged India a premium price but other countries they provided oil at below average price. Okay, so why we increased our import from Russia? What is the reason? The first one is geopolitical tensions. As you know that there is crisis which is going on in this West Asia. So because of this West Asian crisis, we are not able to import much amount of oil from this West Asian countries which are transporting oil through the Strait of Hormuz because of closure of Strait of Hormuz. Because of this, we went for diversification of our oil imports. So we got more oil from Russia. That is the first reason. And next one is established infrastructure and adaptation. So whatever Indian refineries are there, whatever the systems we have, for example, fractional distillation systems, they had been adapted to this oil of Russia. Major problem here is with Venezuela oil. Venezuela is having largest oil reserves in the world. But the problem with this Venezuela oil is it is very thick. Viscosity is very high. You know viscosity, right? If you take honey, if you pour it, it will not move as freely as oil. That is viscosity. You know this, right? Thickness. And even there is high amount of sulfur in this Venezuelan oil. But whatever the oil refineries which are present in India, they don't have that much technology to clean this sulfur from this oil. Okay, so whatever the infrastructure which is there in our oil refineries, they already adapted to this oil. Even though Russia is selling oil at a higher price, we have to use that. Why? Because if we want to upgrade our technology, upgrade our infrastructure, it will be very costly for oil refineries, and we cannot go within overnight or within 10 days or 15 days to change that entire infrastructure, right? And next one is dependence factor. High reliance by major buyers allows Russia to charge premiums, because already we depend on that Russia. Russia knows that, yes, whatever the price will sell, India and Russia will come to me. So because of this, obviously there is increased premium. And next one is there is no major shift in our country. We are not going further more related to this diversification of supply chains. We are thinking about it, but on ground the action has not yet been taken. So because of that, we continued importing more and more oil from this Russia. So these are the major reasons. But the problem here is now there is increased cost for India because of increased import and increased price of crude oil. That is the first negative impact. And next one here is premium pricing, which is continuing with Russia. And next one here is India is focusing on diversification, but even though we are having our own constraints for diversification. Okay, so those are the impacts. And I said there will be increasing of import bill, current account deficit widens, trade deficit widens, there is decreasing of foreign currency, and that will lead to the rupee depreciation. Okay, see this article, guys. India and Indonesia launched joint restoration project at iconic Prambanan temple. Please keep star mark for this temple. For sure in 2027 you will be getting a prelims based question on this temple. Okay, have you seen 2026 paper, anyone, prelims? In 2026 prelims paper there is one question on temple architecture. They gave in pair based. Okay, I'll tell you how the question was framed. Consider the following pairs. Under that they gave 4 pairs, temple and location, and they asked which of the above temples have Nagara style of temple architecture. Nagara or Dravidan? Nagara only, right? Nagara type of temple architecture. And in options they gave 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs, 4 pairs. If you see in art and architecture part, you have to focus on 5 to 6 areas where UPSC repeatedly gives a question. First one is about IVC architecture, second one is temple architecture, and third one is dance forms, that is nothing but dance, and next one is music, and next one is paintings. So these are the areas repeatedly UPSC will give question from art and architecture in prelims. If you do PYQs, you will know the themes that you have to refer and which themes you have to leave. If there is any temple which is in news, you will be getting a question. And last time we expected there will be a question on Preh Vihar temple. What is the issue why this Preh Vihar temple is in news? It is located at which country's boundary? Cambodia and Thailand. But unfortunately there is no question on that. And one more international temple is in news now. It is Prambanan temple. So by taking these two, UPSC can frame you a question. Consider the following pairs. Preh Vihar temple, Cambodia. Prambanan temple, Indonesia. And they may add one more pair, and they may ask you, identify how many of above pairs are correct. That is a possible question. And second possible question is, consider the following statement regarding this Prambanan temple. And it can give you only statements related to this kind of temple. Are you understanding? So in this way, UPSC has tendency to ask a question on this. And whenever you are getting these temples in news, try to open Google, try to browse and click on images and see images. Because pictographic memory will stay long. Yes? You can get that kind of images in your examination hall if you get such kind of questions. I will always suggest you to maintain good pictographic memory. And that memory will also help you to draw diagrams in your answers also. That is the reason. Okay, see this temple. This is that temple, guys. And this temple is located in Indonesia. Okay. Now let us see some facts related to this temple. So what is the style of this temple? Is it Nagara or Dravida? Okay, I will tell you one more concept. If you see this temple architecture, we have three types of styles of temple architecture in India. In northern part, which style of temple architecture? Nagara. In northern part, Nagara style of temple architecture we can see. Okay, to give you small example, have you seen this kind of upper part of the temple? It will be like somewhat bell shaped. This will be the temple and upper part will be like this shape. It is the Nagara style of temple architecture. In southern part we have Dravidian style of temple architecture. Have you seen this Madura Meenakshi temple? At least in songs, in images, in photos. The temple will be in this pyramidical structure like this. The Gopura will be in this way. So this is Dravidian style of temple architecture. In central India, we have both the combination of these two, Nagara and Dravida. This temple architecture is called as Vesara. Okay, and this topic is also very important from your mains. You have to see what exactly the features of Nagara style of temple architecture, what exactly the features of Vesara style and Dravidian style with even examples, because in 2026 prelims they gave examples of these temples and location. While reading your art and culture, try to maintain your maps, guys. That will give you lot of edge while identifying the statements in prelims or while doing some value addition for your answer in mains. Because art and culture is part of both your prelims and mains. And you will be getting good number of questions every year from prelims and also mains. And this time there are around 21 questions from history in 2026 prelims. You cannot underscore any area, guys. Okay. Now let us see some facts related to this Prambanan temple. Our Prime Minister and Indonesian President, they officially launched International Conservation and Restoration Project at Prambanan Temple compound in Indonesia. So if UPSC wants to ask a simple question, it can give. Recently, International Conservation Restoration Project of Prambanan Temple is in use. It is initiative of which of the following countries? Option A, India, Thailand. Option B, India, Cambodia. Option C, India, Indonesia. Option D, India, Nepal. Are you understanding? In that way also UPSC can ask you a simple question. Here you have to remember countries, about this temple, location. Clear? Now let us see some facts. Prambanan is one of the largest and it is the most architecturally complex Hindu temple compound. It is Hindu temple compound and it is the largest in Southeast Asia also. Okay, and it is one of the masterpiece of classical Shaivite art, design and stone building technology. And in this temple we have three complexes. One is dedicated to Lord Shiva, one is for Lord Vishnu and one is for Lord Brahma. Okay. So these three people are called as Trinity, no? So we have these three separate complexes for these three gods in this entire temple. And next one here is, if you see the location, it is located on fertile volcanic plains of Java Island, Indonesia. You know, this Indo-Pacific plate, for example, Pacific Ring of Fire. I think you might have heard about this Pacific Ring of Fire. What is Pacific Ring of Fire? In your geography, you'll come across this topic, Pacific Ring of Fire. It is one of the most important and repeated theme of UPSC. What is that? Sure. Again, one more concept you have to know. If you see the different layers of the earth, how many layers we have commonly? Crust, mantle, and next one is core. Core is the inner part. We have inner core and outer core. Keep it aside. So here we have crust and upper part of mantle. Crust plus upper part of mantle is called as lithosphere, and it is also called as plate. Actually, we have the movement of plates. We have minor plates, we have my major plates, and these plates will be moving. And we have three different types of plate movements. Convergent plate movements. Convergent means what? Here we have plate 1, here we have plate 2. They will move towards each other. They are converging. Those kind of plate movements is called as convergent plate movement. And second type here is moving away from each other. This plate is moving that direction, this plate is moving this direction. It is called as divergent plate movements. And one more plate movement is here we have plate 1, here we have plate 2. They will be sliding one over other. This kind of movement is called as transform plate boundaries. Whenever we have this kind of convergent plate movements, what happens? Those are the areas we can see volcanic eruptions, and those are the areas which are very vulnerable to this earthquakes. In Pacific Ocean, we have a big plate called as Pacific plate, and here we have small and major plates. So here in this region we have convergent boundary. Because of this entirely, the border of this Pacific Ocean is susceptible to volcanoes and earthquakes. That area is called as entirely Pacific Ring of Fire, because in that region we can see frequent volcanoes, earthquakes, etc. It is called as Pacific Ring of Fire. Unfortunately, this Indonesia is also part of Pacific Ring of Fire, and even Japan. Because of that, Japan will be having frequent earthquakes. Indonesia, Java region, we have large number of volcanoes in that region because of their location, because of this plate movements case. Okay, now if you see here, the location of this temple is on fertile volcanic plains of Java Island, Indonesia, because it is part of Pacific Ring of Fire. So because of this frequent volcanic eruption, this temple had been damaged. Okay, now let us see the history of this temple. This temple was constructed during 8th and 9th century AD by this Sanjaya dynasty. Please make a note, by Sanjaya dynasty during this 8th and 9th century this temple was constructed. And next important point you have to remember is during 11th century the collapse of this temple happened because of volcanic eruptions. Okay, because of catastrophic earthquake along with eruption of volcano by this nearby Mount Merapi volcano. And even when you read your geography, especially this geomorphology topic, also you will come across this volcano that is clearly written in your NCERT also about this Mount Merapi volcano. So you have to recall that Mount Merapi volcano, nearby we have one temple. This is that temple, and because of this volcanic eruption, this temple got affected. Okay, and completely this temple complex was abandoned, and they forgot about this temple. And later on, Britishers started rediscovery of this area, and they started doing some restoration process in 1918. And finally, in 1991, UNESCO gave this UNESCO World Heritage Site tag to this temple. And from that time onwards, we are trying to restore this. And now again, India and Indonesia came up with this international project of restoration of this temple once again. Okay, this is the history of this temple. Clear? And next, see this article, guys. Read out the title. DRDO conducts successful flight test of Pinaka rocket. And as I said many a times, defense is very important, on which UPSC will give you at least 2 questions in your prelims. How UPSC can give you a question? Consider the following statements regarding Pinaka rocket. Under that, it can give 2 to 3 statements. That is the first possible question. And second possible question is, consider the following pairs. Consider the following pairs. On one side, it can give different equipment. What is it? It is a rocket, it is a missile, it is a frigate. I think recently we discussed about INS Mahendragiri. It is a frigate, stealth frigate. Like that, it can combine the equipments which are there in use. In the similar way, UPSC asked question in 2025, the same format. In 2026 prelims, it changed the format. How it gave was, consider the following, and it gave 3 equipments, only 3, and it asked which of the above are indigenous. That means made in India. Okay, like that UPSC can ask you different formats of questions from defense, but it is very important. You have to make the list of all defense equipments which are there in use. And if you prepare that, you will get 4 marks, guys. Okay, if you prepare all these defense equipments which are in use from last 1 year, you will get 4 marks. You can understand how big, how vast your syllabus is. Okay, now let us see this in detail. So this Pinaka rocket system is a multi-barrel rocket launcher. Who developed this? DRDO. That means either indigenous or it is foreign. Yes, DRDO. Here only we have in Hyderabad also DRDO, DLRL. So here it is developed by DRDO and it is manufactured by Indian defense firms. It is nothing but indigenous technology. It is made by indigenous technology. And next one is, this rocket system got name after a legendary bow of Lord Shiva. And the name Pinaka symbolizes power and precision. Precision means 100% striking the target. 100% you are reaching that target. And this one is, it is symbolizing the power also because of its fast movement. And if you see the key features, it has the capability to fire around 12 rockets within 44 seconds. You can understand how fast it works. And next one here is the range. So in this Pinaka, we have 3 variants. First one is Pinaka 1, Pinaka MK1, next one is MK2, and we have guided variant. The first variant has range of 40 kilometers. It can strike the target which is 40 kilometers. And second version is around 60 to 75 kilometers. And third version is around 90 kilometers. In every advancement, we try to increase the range of that rocket. Okay, the features are guidance. Next one is precision. And next one is, we can carry multiple warheads. In this equipment, we can keep the bombs and we can launch against our enemy targets. And quick deployment can be done. And it can support advanced technology also. So these are the major features of this rocket system. And see this next article, guys. Over 42% rise in female enrollment in higher education since 2014, says the report. Okay, so here now recently, in yesterday's class, what we discussed, our Union Education Ministry released UDISC report. In that report, what we studied, in primary schools and secondary schools, there is decreased dropouts. Yes. So now this report is talking about higher education. So related to higher education, the name of the report is AISHE. Please make a note. AISHE. Related to higher education. Here HE means higher education. Okay, what is AISHE? AISHE full form is All India Survey on Higher Education. In yesterday's class, we discussed about schools. That report is UDISC. Now, higher education, All India Survey of Higher Education, again by Ministry of Education, Union Ministry of Education report. Okay, now what this report is saying, there is 42% of increased female enrollment in higher education. Higher education means what? We have pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher education. Pre-primary means play schools. Next, what is primary till? Till which class it is primary? 10th class. SSC means SSC board only know around 10th class. SSC till 6th class, huh? Huh? Till 10th, huh? Come on. Shh. 9th, 10th, inter then. If I tell now, you'll forget again. I know. Do this, guys. What is, write down. What is pre-primary? Online students, please do that. Pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher education. Search that and write down. If you search, you will get 2 more points. You will get that will help you guys. If I tell now, listen here from 1 year and you will leave from another year before going out from this class. I know. Okay, do that research and write down. So tell me, what is higher education? After intermediate, we will be doing graduation. After graduation again, post graduation, and even we have doctorate courses. All this will come under higher education. Now this article is talking about higher education. Now there is increased women enrollment. Now tell me guys, why there is increased female enrollment in this higher education? What do you think? If UPSC wants to give a question, recently Aisha report of Ministry of Education highlighted that there is increased participation of women in higher education. In the light of this statement, what are the reasons? And add a note on impact. Okay, now tell me guys, why there is increased female enrollment? What do you think? Online students, tell me. Yes, increased awareness. First point will be always awareness. Next. Come on. Yes, better infrastructure accepted. Next. Yes, skills. Okay, next. Which kind of schemes? Examples. So here you have to know reasons and even you have to know what exactly the schemes came up by the government that led to increased female enrollment. Okay. And next, now tell me guys, if female enrollment is increasing in higher education, is that good or bad? Bad. Why bad? Why bad, Akash? Is that good or bad to our economy? Good. So what is that good? What are the advantages? Female labor force participation will be increased. So female contribution for our economy GDP will be increased. Next, women empowerment, yes or no? Next, gender inequality increases or decreases? Next, women employment opportunities increases. Financial independence of women, women's participation in decision making. But we have some negatives. What are those negatives? Killing of husbands. What is this? There will be increased divorce rate. Yes. Next one is single parent raised children will be increased. And because of women empowerment and increasing of women financial independence, what is happening? There is rise of nuclear families. Earlier we used to have joint families, now nuclear families. And even what is happening, if woman has to go to work, she has to complete household chores as soon as possible. That means women will be going for ready-made foods. Nowadays, we are also getting ready-made curries also. Chicken ready-made curry. Yes, you know this. No, not order. Even I too ordered recently. That's what I know. I cooked recently ready-made chicken curry in my home. So because of this, what happens? Fast food, processed food use increases. That will lead to increased NCDs. Just to trial, I took that, not to have any kind of diseases, just for try how it is. Okay, so what happens? NCD will be increasing. So like that, you need to have both positives, negatives, and what led to that, what government is doing. If you want to suggest some measures, you have to have at least 4 to 5 points. That is your mains answer rating. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay, now let us see this article. Okay, All India Survey on Higher Education (ISHE) released by Union Ministry of Education highlighted that there is overall increased female enrollment in higher education, especially students from scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and OBC increased. What are the reasons? The first one is government policies and schemes. Government targeted this vulnerable sections of society, and government is providing reservations in education and even scholarship and financial support. Yes or no? Did you get any stipend from the government in this higher education, especially in the BTech or any other courses? Government will be giving yearly package of 8,000 rupees or 9,000 rupees. I got around 8,000 rupees per 1 year. I don't know whether you got that or not. Only I got 8,000 rupees. For my other friends who belongs to this SC and ST, they got around 12 to 14,000 per year. Again, there is also some change. Okay, so here government targeted this vulnerable sections of society and government gave scholarship, and in this way government is supporting this women, especially special girl child scholarships that reduce financial barriers. So there is increased entry of women into higher education. And we have campaigns like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and other similar kind of campaigns at national level which encouraged families to educate their daughters as par with boys. And next one is we have increased hostel facilities and safety measures, construction of separately girls hostels in colleges, especially in universities and some other colleges. So what happened? That led to increased women participation, and even there is increased transportation facilities, especially in states like AP, Telangana and Karnataka. We have free bus for women. Tamil Nadu also. So because of this, what happened? There is increased transportation facility so that women can reach their colleges easily. And next one is reservations and affirmative actions, and your sir will be dealing with these reservations when he'll teach this fundamental rights in your politics. Fundamental rights not yet completed, no? Completed? No, right? So in fundamental rights topic, especially in this article 15, you will come up with lots of cases related to reservations, reservations in education, reservations in employment. There you will be learning about how government is providing some affirmative action towards women. And now we have more number of colleges and universities. Because of increasing of colleges, increased number of seats, obviously, women can get easily the seats. And next one is nowadays, lots of universities are providing online courses also. And even distance, this distance courses, no need of going to college every day, only for examinations, you will go and you will write and you will come. So because of this kind of services provided by the colleges also, there is increased women participation. Okay, next one is there is increased STEM and professional courses, like more girls now are enrolling engineering, medicine, management, and even they are getting job oriented courses, and even they are getting some coaching facilities which are available. Because of all these things, there is increased enrollment of women in higher education. So what is the impact here? The first one is we can ensure gender equality. Okay, there will be greater gender equity. And next one is there is social mobility for marginalized sections of society. And overall, the system growth can be improved. Next one is they will get more employment opportunities and regional variabilities can be decreased. Okay, women empowerment and women related issues can be resolved. See this article, guys. Prisoners of violence. Recently in our class, we discussed about overcrowding of prisons in India. Can you recall that? Now tell me, what is the occupancy rate in India? 113% or 30%? 13? 30. Again, one more confusion, 113 or 130. So check your notes, guys. Recently, we discussed this topic, like there is a problem of overcrowding of prisons. Why we discussed overcrowding of prisons topic in India? What is the reason? Yes, in Tamil Nadu, women prisons are like overcrowded. Because of that, they are not getting basic facilities. Because of that, they are having lots of problems. And even I think 3 to 4 months ago, we discussed about one disease called as herpes simplex virus. There is spread of herpes simplex virus in male prisoners. So because of these two things, we discussed about overcrowding of Indian prisons. And now there is one article in news which talks about violence happened in Sri Lanka prison. Okay, now tell me guys, have you seen this movie Euphoria? Anyone? Euphoria. What should I tell? Have you seen any movie related to prisons? How the life of the prisoners will be? What kind of activities they'll do? Okay, now tell me what kind of negative activities will happen in these prisoners? Using of drugs illegally. Yes. Next. If you don't watch movies, how can I explain the concept? Okay, I'll tell you what is happening here. In Sri Lanka, the major problem is overcrowding of prisons. The capacity of a prison is 10,035 inmates. Okay. So normally the capacity of a prison is like 10,395 inmates. But in that prison there are around 28,278 inmates. That means there is triple. Yes. So actually we need to have only 10,000, but the people are like 30,000. That means 3 times there is increased burden or overcrowding of prison happen. And majorly that prisoners are getting access to illicit drugs. Okay, they started using some drugs illegally, and there is narcotic menace. There is narcotic menace in this prisoners. That is nothing but they are using these drugs illegally. So whenever they are using drugs illegally, what happens? They will get these hallucinations, and their body will be not in their control. So because of this, what happens is somebody is coming and somebody is asking like, what are you doing? If someone is questioning them, will they react normally? They will try to beat them. They will try to kill them sometimes. In that way, 2 people created violence in prison. And because of this violence, around 28 people, they died in this prison. And now there is mismanagement which is going on in this prison. And there is increased tension inside the premises. Okay. So because of this, what is happening here? If this kind of issue which is going on, conflict which is going on between 2 or 3 people, because of overcrowding, what happened? It will be injuring the other people also. So because of this, as soon as possible, many inmates, they had been replaced. Sorry, what they did? Okay, they taken out from that prison and they relocated to another prison to come to make that control, to increase the control of that prison, to control that situation. So they shifted some prisoners from that jail to another jail. So this kind of problem is not only in Sri Lanka, but even in India also we have this kind of problem of drug menace in our Indian jails also. So this article is giving some measures at last, like what can be done to come out of this situation. The first one is we have to improve the prison conditions. We have to improve infrastructure in this prisons, so that what happens, we can reduce this overcrowding of prisons. Why there is overcrowding of prisons? The justice delivery system is very late in our country. Because of this, what is happening here? There is increasing of number of prisoners in the jails. So we have to even go for fast track courts so that we can get this justice delivery as soon as possible. And next, one more point they gave here is we have to improve security also in these regions, and we have to disable drug networks. Because it is not only posing the threat for these prison inmates, but even for the normal sections of society also it is very problematic. So we have to control this problem of drug networks. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here, nothing more than that. But you may not get directly question related to Sri Lanka prisons. UPSC can give you a question on what are the reasons why there is overcrowding of Indian prisons. Suggest some measures. Like that, UPSC can give you a question on this. Already I gave a question on this topic earlier for your mains answer writing. Just open that answer. Just have a look what you wrote for that answer. Okay, that's it. Nothing more than that. But here remember that the major problem in this prisons is lack of basic amenities, and there is increased conflicts between the inmates, and this one is even they are having access to these drugs illegally. And next one here is, yeah, that's it guys. So you have to see those things. Now let us see the question. Can you see? Yes, see the first question. Consider the following statements regarding Prambanan temple. First one is it is the largest Hindu temple complex in Indonesia. It was built during 9th century by Sanjaya dynasty. The temple is primarily dedicated to Hindu trinity Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Fourth one is it is located on the island of Bali. Next one is it is designated as UNESCO's World Heritage Site. First statement is right or wrong? Can you eliminate one option here? You came up to 75. Okay, next one is you have to see second statement. It is built by Sanjaya dynasty or not? Again, one more option stuck down. Okay, now which option you have to see? Which statement you have to see? Fifth one. See the fifth one. Is it a World Heritage Site or not? Answer is B. Because it is not located on Bali. It is located on Java. Okay, clear? So in that way, try to solve based on options. See this next question, guys. Consider the following statements. First one, Pinaka is a guided surface-to-surface rocket artillery system. Enhanced versions of Pinaka has a strike range exceeding 75 kilometers. Pinaka can carry different types of warheads, including high explosive and anti-tank mine-laying variants. It is designed for anti-submarine warfare. Which of the statements are correct? First one is, it is surface to surface only. The image you can see. There is one machine from which the rocket is coming outside. That means it is from surface to surface. If there is any aeroplane means, it is from air. Clear? If it is from water means, you can see. Okay, first one is for sure it is right. It is a surface to surface rocket artillery system. I am removing this option. And next, second option is there in all. Second statement is there in all options. So for sure second is right. Because we studied that there are three variants, Mach 1, Mach 2, and guided. It is having around 90 kilometers of range. So second is right. And next you have to see third one. Pinaka can carry different types of warheads. Yes, we discussed. One more option we can eliminate. And next one is it is designed for anti-submarine warfare. Are we using for submarines? Submarines where they will be located in water, right? We have diesel submarines, we have nuclear submarines. Can you recall that image of submarine? So here it is not for anti-submarine. Answer is C, 1, 2 and 3. Clear? Try to use your basic common sense and basic knowledge case. Everything will be not written in every book, any book. So you have to use your observation skills to solve such kind of questions. That's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And if you want to start your UPSC preparation and if you want to take GS Foundation course, we in our academy, we are launching a new batch from 18th of July guys. And we are providing both on online and offline. And even I'm going to launch my anthropology batch from August 3rd onwards. And again, we are providing both on online and offline. And if you want to know more details about my anthropology course or either GS Foundation course, please do contact us on this number. Number is 8074765513. You can text me on this number on WhatsApp also for the queries guys. Thank you so much and I wish you all the best.